Hey there everybody, Eric from Outer Limitless coming at you today with another video. Now in today's video I'm getting ready for a pretty substantial backpacking trip. Now this trip's made up of two phases. One, where I'm carrying my gear to my campsite, and two, where from that campsite we're going to summit at least one peak, maybe two. So with that said, I have a couple of different objectives, and to carry my gear to the campsite, it's not that far. In fact, it's only a couple of miles and fairly flat, even though it is in the mountains. So I've opted to carry this U.S. military surplus Molle 2 rucksack. This thing is a behemoth. It's like over 8 pounds. This has 5,000 cubic inches or like over 80 liters of space. This thing is just a monster. But for me, the way I look at it is a couple of things. One, I've never really used this in any substantial capacity. The thing sits on my shelf and does nothing, so I'm like, you know what the heck, I'm gonna carry it today. But the other thing is I do have a pretty good amount of gear that I want to bring. Now again, I'm going to my destination, which for the first part, the first leg of the trip, is just my campsite. So I'm bringing my gear a couple miles in, fairly flat, fairly easy, and I want a lot of stuff with me. I want a good amount of things to get me through this camp trip nice and comfortable. I want luxury, I want food, I want tools, I want to process wood for a fire. So to have a bag of this size that's capable of carrying the weight should definitely work in my advantage. Now I have no idea how it's going to go, but it's definitely an experiment. And if you're interested in seeing a little bit more about what I'm about to get into, do me a favor. Stay tuned. So again, as I mentioned, I intend on using this military surplus Molle 2 backpack for my carry option for the first leg of my trip. Now I am also going to have basically an assault pack with me, so I'm not necessarily going to summit with this pack. All I'm doing with this is getting my gear to my campsite, where I'll then set up my campsite, have a snack, have some food, and then go on my second leg of the trip up to the top of the mountains. Now there's a number of ways this bag can be set up. Right now you'll see that only the main bag is attached to the frame, but there are a number of other pouches that can be added to this if I need to increase the overall capacity. So for example, these large dump pouches, which I will probably connect to the sides, this will hold my food as I'm going in there, and then basically at that point I can either take these off and keep my food in here, or just remove my food altogether. Not a big deal. These large pouches that basically, I mean, this alone could probably hold my sleeping bag, could hold my pillows, could hold a whole bunch of things. This could even hold my food, who knows? So if I need a little more space, I certainly can add it. Now I don't expect that with the size of that pack, I'm necessarily going to need to add these, but I did want to show you that there are additional bolt-on units if you need them. Now what I definitely will be carrying, because I need a couple of dump pouches on my sides, these are canteen holders. So like USMC or US Army style pouches, these hold canteens. They have these malice clips on the side, and this one here, this actually has Molle. So a couple of different ways these can be connected to your pack. Now on this backpack, this does have Molle webbing right on the sides. So for me, that works out fairly well, where I like to have water at my sides. I like to have my camera right at my side. So while I'm hiking in, this will definitely work to my advantage. Now one final thing that I'm probably not going to bring, but I just wanted to show it to you, this little magazine pouch. So a nice size pouch. This has a number of different uses. You can actually strap this on the outside of the bag. You can use this for a fire kit, put some toiletries, different types of things right on the outside of the bag. I have used this in the past with other bags. Now I don't, again, think that I will need this. However, just wanted to show it to you in case you were curious. Now I'm not going to get into a whole ton of detail on what I plan on bringing, but you'll notice I have a good amount of gear here. So everything from my sleeping bag, sleeping pad, pillows, I'm bringing a hammock, an oversized tarp, a normal size tarp under here. So basically, if it's going to rain, I'll have a large tarp for everybody to hang out underneath. I have my regular tarp that's going to go over the top of my hammock. I have my fire kit, some batteries for my camera. I'm also going to bring an Anchor backup battery pack for my phone. all my tie outs for both tarps. This is my down jacket, some water shoes. I am going to a river, and I know I'm going to want my water shoes, so I'm testing these out as well. Brand new, haven't tried them yet. This will be in a future review. My clothing, which I'll probably bring a couple extra things now that I have the capacity, and I know I'm not going all too far, so just going to get some extra clothing in here in case I need it. Here's my buck saw, so basically a folding buck saw. Excellent for processing wood. I know I'll need it. And my Grantsfors Brook small forest axe. So in combination, that's going to be a devastating duo. Give me the ability to really process some wood for my fire. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know I built my TFK T17 for the wilderness backpacking use. I am not bringing it on this trip. In fact, I have another little TFK knife here that I'll be doing a quick little review on. Now, I do have a couple of buddies bringing the T17 with them, so I'll let them enjoy the T17 while I get my hands on this other TFK blade. So for cooking, I'm going to bring my gas stove, my little cup so I can drink my drinks, have some coffee and whatnot, have a nice large pot, the ability for me to clean things up. I'm also bringing a couple of lids, so one lid that actually fits this pot, another lid that I'm going to use to maybe fry up some steaks. It depends. If we can get a good fire going and it's early enough, I hope to cook over the fire, but who knows, we'll see. Another review I'll be doing is on this headlamp system. I'm not going to get into the details just yet, but that is going with me on the trip. Here I have my water filter, so I just keep it in this little pouch, nice and safe. You'll see that I have my bladder bags. Now I am probably going to need another bag, actually a clean bag to bring with me in my assault pack going up the mountain. So depending on what I do for water bottles, I'm not terribly sure just yet. I'm kind of working out that detail. I have a couple of thoughts in mind. This is my med kit, so a two-piece kit. Here I have all my bandages and things like that. And here I have medications, things like that. Kind of a two-piece kit going with me. Here I have bandanas, so a couple of bandanas, a couple of pieces of cloth so I can clean up. I'm going to do a little bit better this time just cleaning up at night so I have a nice comfortable time sleeping. Here I have a little ridge line that I'm going to use to kind of hang up some of my gear underneath my tarp setup. So just to keep things dry, let them dry out in case I get wet. Now I'm not 100% sold if I'm going to bring this Vargo titanium bot. This is a 1 liter bottle pot. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to bring that. It's kind of up in the air. This is a little experiment. I'm going to be using this pop-off leather card pouch for sort of an experiment. Now, I'm not going to talk about it. You'll see it in an upcoming video if it works. So just kind of bringing this with me in case I have an opportunity for a quick little experiment. Definitely bringing my stool. So this is my walk stool basic, something that goes with me on most of my trips these days. Definitely like it. It's a great piece of kit and I want to be comfortable while I'm out there. And then finally, for my assault pack, I am bringing this Waterfly backpack. Now, this is a 40-liter pack. I don't necessarily need a backpack of this size. However, I do really want to try carrying this up a mountain to see how it works. I have a couple of thoughts about it. I'm not completely sold on this bag, but if it works out and it's comfortable, this is a great option for a real long, lightweight hike, like a through hike style. And I kind of want to try it. Now, there are some limiting factors. I think the overall construction may be limiting where it doesn't have any sort of rigidity on the back, no frame or anything like that. The padding on the shoulders is minimal, no ventilation, and at that does not have a sternum strap. But apart from those features, the rest of the features on this bag seem to be excellent for that purpose. So I'm going to give this a try, use it as my assault pack, and see how it performs. Now, apart from this, I do, like I mentioned, need to deal with my water and also my food. So a pretty good volume of gear here and hopefully won't have any problem fitting in this U.S. military surplus pack. I hope it works. This Molle pack here should be a good overall size and volume. So looking at the main compartment, you'll notice this is massive. Now you do have the ability to connect this to the lower section. I do have it zipped off with these flaps, kind of keeping everything shut. If you had a huge load, you could tie it off too, just to be safe. I don't necessarily need that, but you will notice this is just a huge cavernous pocket here. So definitely the ability to hold a ton of gear. And equally impressive, this lower pocket here, again, just nice and large, capable of holding a ton of stuff. So usually these pockets on the bottom are kind of small. Well, not with this Molle 2. This is a huge, huge compartment. So again, capability to hold a ton of gear. All the buckles are Duraflex, heavy duty buckles, nice webbing, very, very heavy duty zippers. Everything on this just very heavy duty YKK zippers all the way around. Everything on these military packs is just very heavy duty. The nylon, it's like at least 1,000 denier. I bet you it's more than that. The webbing just stitched and box stitched and everything you need just for good longevity and durability. The padding on the back is ample. And then the lumbar pad. You'll notice that this is actually inverted. I got some advice off a couple different YouTube channels saying that that actually helps you to invert the pad. So I did that, and it does seem to carry a little bit better. Feels better on your waist and kind of rides a little bit better into the small of your back. And then the buckles, again, just heavy duty. Everything about this pack, very, very heavy duty. And you'll notice that sections of the frame are exposed, so good opportunity to lash stuff to the pack. You have a lot of opportunities up and down the entire frame. This frame, again, just very heavy duty. This pack over 8 pounds, just a behemoth, but definitely gives the ability to carry a ton of gear. And then just finally, one last thing, this big mesh pouch. So you'll notice that this has Velcro all the way across the top. So I could definitely put stuff in the lid of the pack if I really wanted to. Now there is no definitive brain for this, so if I wanted to have a brain, I'd probably have to use one of these other pouches and kind of bolt it on here. Or I could definitely get a pouch and slide it through, a bedroll, anything like that, right through on the top of the pack. No problem at all. So lots of options, lots of ways to carry gear, but just a massive bag capable of carrying all of my stuff. So at this point, I'm going to get all this stuff packed into the bag, and then the next time you see me, I'll be out on the trails.